Good afternoon and welcome. I'm back after a week away. So if you are here, let me know. This is Pat's Stamping Place, and this is Pat Mayer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Northeast Ohio. So welcome. I skipped last week while I'm waiting to see if anybody pops on here, and I'll turn that off. I skipped last week because I had a friend offer to help me with a project that I've been wanting to do for ever so long, and that was to not recover my dining room chairs, but to put new foam in them. So we were kind of working from the bottom up, and it was fun, but definitely not something I want to do again. But anyway, I guess we worked a little bit every day from like a week ago Thursday, and Monday I knew we weren't going to finish, so I thought I just better cancel and not try to do too much. But anyway, they're all done, and because you were sinking down in them, I'd had them for so long, but I wanted to keep the fabric. So anyway, that's my story. Hello Rose, you missed you last week, and I want to wish you a belated happy birthday. That came up on my calendar yesterday, so happy birthday to Rose. And hello Sue and Shirley, welcome. So I'm going to get started, and I did sketch number 1 2 weeks ago, and if you were here then, these were the cards that I made. Let's flip down to my desktop here. These were the cards I made with sketch number 1. And there are sketches on page 22 in the annual catalog. Hello Janice, or Jan, welcome. Good to see you. Good, dear old friend, not old friend, but old friend. So these were from sketch number 1. So I'm going to try and go through the different sketches for inspiration as the weeks go on. I was going to try and do 2 sketches today, but time kind of got away from me. So anyway, these were sketch 1. So let me put those away. And today is sketch number 2. Okay, I've got all my little papers here. So here's sketch number 2, and the dimensions on here are for interpretation only. Our card bases are typically 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So if you look on page 22, which I'll show in a minute, they're all in portrait design or portrait layout versus landscape, which goes this way. But your design can be any way you want because it's interpretation, what you want it to be. So we've got our card base, and then we've got a layer of paper, 3 1/2 by 4 1/4, and that can be different too, whatever you want it to be. And then a punch or some kind of die cut for here, and ribbon. That's it. But I'm going to start off with something I've not done for a very long time. I think it's way over a year. And that's to get a little bit more bang for your buck out of your 12 by 12 paper with an envelope out of part of it. So that's that. You can keep that in mind. But these are the sketches. If you don't have a catalog, please reach out to get one. But these are the sketches at the bottom of page 22. And there are, I didn't number them, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. There are 22 of them. How about that? So we're on number 2 today. And what I am using is paper from the Mediterranean Blooms Designer Series paper. And that whole suite can be found on page 34 and 35. And it just gives you the vibe of being in the Greek Isles, I guess, because it's mostly yellows and oranges and all those sweet citrusy things on one side, and then we've got blues on the other side, Night of Navy. I'm going to be working with the yellow side for today, but this is wonderful. I do have the dies for this, but today I'm going to use the paper, and I think I've got the dies. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't order that, but I've got the yes, Sue, I will get one to you. Sorry about that. I will drop one off. And then the Citrus Blooms stamp set, I'm going to use one of the sentiments out of that today. So that's that. And the Designer Series paper is still on sale through the end of August, 15% off on not just this one that I'm going to use today, but let's see, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 14 papers that are on sale from, I think they're all in the catalog, but some of them could also be online exclusive. So I'm not sure of that. But the Mediterranean Blooms paper is in the catalog. And then one more thing. The next mini catalog should be in your mailbox. If you are a customer, let me know if you didn't get one or if you would like to have one, and I'll get one of these in the mail to you. I can't show you the inside yet until September 1st or 2nd, but I am going to show you one of the papers and a card at the end of this video, so hang in there. All right, let's get going. So I hope you're having a good beginning to this week and a good ending of last week. We have been getting lots of rain. A week ago, we had torrential rains here that caused lots and lots of damage in the area. So I was fortunate. I just had a little trickle of water in my basement, but not that much. So let's get to this paper. I'm using this one. Let me show you these real quick. They're all blue on one side. Some of them are big, bold images that you could cut out and make designs for on your cards. Is this not gorgeous or what? And some of these do go along with the dies in the die set. So there we go with that. All right, so let's make the envelope first because it's going to take a 6 by 12 piece of paper. And if you want to get your little sketch pad out or a notepad, I will give you the dimensions on how this makes. So you need a trimmer. And so I'm just going to put this up against this side of our trimmer and cut a 6 by 12 piece of paper. I will use this in a minute to create the card. So we've got 6 by 12, and then I want to score at 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So I make sure, and with this, I'm coming up on the right side of the cut side here. So I'm coming over here. It makes it a lot easier. And that's with the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. Make sure you're using your gray blade. Believe me, I have used the wrong blade numerous times. Flip it over and Do the same thing on the opposite side. So 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Now, if your paper is directional, you might want to decide what the top of your envelope might be. On this one, I guess lemons do grow down. So I'm going to put the next score line up here at the top, which will be the top of my envelope. So I want to score now, let's turn it this way, at 2 inches. Yes, that did it. Let me do that one again, 2 inches. There we go. And then the other end at 4 1/4. And I'll go over those again in a minute. Okay, so we have 2 inches up here, and isn't that blue on the inside just yummy? Love it. 4 1/4 at the bottom. And I'm going to need that back in a second. 3/4 of an inch on either side. And where did my bone folder get to? I think it went missing, so I'm going to have to use my finger here. And then we're just going to cut out a couple of tabs. To make that all work. So we'll end up with an envelope that will hold a 5 1/4 by, or 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card. I now want to cut out these tabs here, here, and since the paper's got lots of design on it, here and here. You can do that with scissors, or you can do that with your trimmer. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to cut out here and here at the 2 inch side, and then here and here on the 4 1/4 inch side. I find it a little bit easier to use the trimmer because we've got the lines on here. So I know I want to come down 2 inches here. So I'm going, that was a score blade. So I'm just going to leave that on the floor. So I'm going to put this back on the 3/4 inch line. That just fell out at the bottom. And cut down to the 2 inch line. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And you can see that line right here on your cutting blade. Then I'll just use scissors to snip out here. I'm going to leave that on here and come down to the bottom. Let's move this up a little bit so you can see better. Come down to the bottom and make sure you lift this up so you don't cut that whole thing off. And now I want to cut up to that other line. Let's move the paper down so it's butts at the bottom. And take that up to this line, which is 8 inches. Okay, I'll snip those out in a minute. Now I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing. But this time that 4 1/4 is now up at the top. I'm going to cut down to that. And usually you can feel where that is. Okay, I think I'm right. And you can always snip it a little bit more if you need to. and then cut up to that line here. So now I've got these flaps here and here that need to get cut out. So I think I'm done with the trimmer for now. And there's a lot of busyness on this paper, so it's kind of hard to see. But now I can cut that out. And then you want to notch this. It makes it a little bit easier. Just put a little notch there on that side. Do the same thing down here. So I'm actually going to put the notch in when I cut across there. Do the same thing here. And the same thing here. So if you've got a bunch of paper, bunch of designer paper, these make it so easy to make a bunch of envelopes. And who cares if it matches what's inside? It shouldn't, but if you want to be precise, you can. All right, so now we're just going to put it together like this. But I've got one more little step that makes it a little bit better. And that is to round the corners of the envelope. We don't have a corner rounder, but did you know you can do that with a circle punch? So this happens to be the 1.5. I think we still have it, but find a circle punch and put your paper in from the top and just slide it in there so that it kind of fits in and makes a corner. You can also do this freehand. If you've got the patience to do that. And it doesn't need to be perfect. So we're going to do it there. And we're also going to do it down here at the bottom. Then I will glue it together and we'll make a card. All right, that's enough for that. Now, let's glue it together. And for this, I like to use tear and tape. So I'm going to put the tear and tape down here. And that just means your envelope is not going to fall apart. And kind of burnish that a little bit. And if you've got some fingernails that work, pull off the release paper. Okay, I've got another little tool here. Well, since that's a good idea too, Shirley, because we don't have the corner rounder anymore, but you can do that with just about any circle punch. So I pulled the release paper off and then just fold that up, get that out of the way. And now we have an envelope. And you say, oh, it's kind of busy over here. How am I going to write on that the post office will like it? If you've got some mailing labels, or just take one of your die cuts, put on there and glue it on or tape it on, and write your address on there. So we'll come back to that at the end. So now let's get ready for a card. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. And what did I say? The sketch was like 3.5 by 4.25 for the paper that goes in there. So I guess we do need the trimmer again. So I'm going to do 3.5. And 4.25. And let's put these pieces back in here. Now you could put something here if you wanted to, or stamp something from the stamp set, or run it through an embossing folder, or maybe, it doesn't show this in the sketch, maybe take a piece of, what am I doing here? Basic white to go behind it to give it, to mount it. And I think that will set it off a little bit better. So, what did I say? This was 3.5 by 4.25. So let's cut this piece at, I think the width is already okay. Yeah, this is 3 3/3 by 4.5. So don't be afraid to look at those sketches and come up with something that make it look a little bit better. You don't have to put that mat behind there, but I like it a little bit better. So let's add some glue to that. I have one sample to show where I ran this part through the through an embossing folder. Okay, so there we've got that. And I think that sets it off a little bit. Now, let's go ahead and put a piece of basic white on the inside. And this is a strip that I had left from another piece that I had cut. So let's see, let's put that, let's do something a little bit different. Put that down along the side. I usually do it down along the bottom, but I want to do it on the side this time, just to kick it up a little bit. So those little pieces that you cut off of the edges of your paper, and I think this was part that was left off or cut off one of the envelopes I was making. And get rid of that glue. So I believe it's a 3/4 inch piece. Yes, it does make the paper look better. Okay, where'd the scissors go? I just had them. Believe it or not, I put them back where they belong. Okay, cut that off. That's so unlike me to put the paper back where it actually belongs. Now, notice that on this one, I have used a top fold that is 4.25 by 11 and scored at 5.5. So you can use whatever card base you decide to use. Okay, we could have done a card that's like this and opens at the top this way, or this one, or just a, you know, a regular card that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, or in this case, 4 1/4 by 11. And that's going to go on the inside. This is making me hungry, not hungry, but thirsty for some lemonade. That looks so pretty. Yes, Janice. I'm still used to calling you Janice. Let's see, that's going to go on that side because I flipped it over. Putting it where it belongs and finding it is a great feeling. I need to do that more often. It's so unlike me to actually look where I actually put it, but yes, that's what makes life exciting. So there's that. Let's put this on here, and I think I will use dimensionals. And I do know where those are. Yes, my crafting area is still quite the mess. And I believe my family from Florida will be arriving next week. So that's going to put another little wrinkle into getting everything done that I've wanted to do, that I've put off, knowing that they were going to come eventually. I just didn't know exactly when. And they've had some issues that have delayed their arrival. So they'll probably, since they're coming so late in August, probably be here through about the middle of September. And I just love it. It's kind of love, but we have so much stuff to catch up on and things we used to do that we don't do. Hello, Nancy. Oh, welcome. Yes, I love the lemons. Okay, get my head down in here. Okay, that's all that's about left of this. I like having that popped up. Is adding a punch, and this is the, let's see, okay, get your craft room set up. Everything's in a box. Oh, I've got lots of boxes. I'm going to use the Labeled with Love punch, and this, let me see if I can remember what page that was on. This is one of the punches that also has dies. So if you're a punch person, you can use punches, or let's see, where'd this one go? Labeled with Love. I guess I didn't put a little sticky note there. Labeled with Love. It's on page 58. There are a couple of options in the catalog where you can get a die. Whoops, the dies are down here. You get 3 dies or 1 punch. So for somebody who doesn't have access to a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or any kind of embossing machine, you may want to just go with the punch. So I went with the punch. It's the same size, so it's just an option of what you want to do. A lot of samples on there. I do have the Labeled with Love stamp set that I haven't used yet. I've just used the punch. So the same thing is on the other side, or on page 59, with the Keeping Tabs die or punch. And I have the punch with that one too. So you've got some options of what you want to do. Okay, let's get this put together. And let's see, I'm going to stamp first and use Early Espresso. And I know that's not in the paper, but it just kind of is easy to use with the yellow. So this one says, "You're the best kind of person." And I do already have one punched out, but this way I can line it up a little bit better. Because I did not stamp it exactly straight. So there we go. And this sketch has some ribbon behind it. Now I know that I had put here 1 by 2 3/4, but that is so variable on what you want to do or what you want to use as a sentiment, because not all sentiments might fit there. And I do have a sample to show you where I didn't even use that. So let's put this here. It doesn't even need to be in the center. You could put it down here. There's so many options to be creative. Okay, this is the gold and silver trim combo pack. And let's see, what am I going to do here? Use kind of like that behind it. That looks good. And I always have trouble getting that ribbon to stay where I want it to stay. So I am going to use a piece of tear and tape. Let's use the punch to hold that down. And just not take the release paper off because I want to use dimensionals. So let's hold that down that way. Meant for it to go a little bit more at an angle, but I think that's okay. And trim that off just a little bit more. That is pretty ribbon, and look at the silver. I haven't even taken the silver off yet because I've been using the gold. And I'm really pretty much of a silver person for jewelry and stuff, but actually I like the mixed. That would have been good too, but the gold seems to go so well with the yellow. Okay, so I try to keep these in the little bag. Actually, I wrote on here too where these came from, because these, when they come as a combo pack, do not give you the name of the ribbon and where it comes from. So I wrote on here and put the code number on there so I'll know when it's time to reorder. If I forget to put it back where it belongs, in the little bag. The combo packs always come in a little Ziploc bag. Okay, so let's put a couple dimensionals on here. And let's put one in the center. There we go. All right, so there's our card. And because I've got that ribbon, it's got some bling to it, I'm going to skip putting any kind of embellishment with it. But now here is our super amazing envelope that goes with, and that slips right inside there. And you can put, I brought some labels over here, so you can put a mailing label on there. Put a piece of tear and tape on the back, and then when you're ready to mail it, just pull off that release paper and you're ready to go. And whoa, isn't that awesome? Now let me show you the other cards that I did this morning. I love those envelopes. So now I still have, using that particular sketch, I still have quite another good sized piece of paper with that I can make full cards. So lots of ideas. I'm going to put the scissors back where they belong and show you another card that I did this morning. Oops. I forgot to take the release off of that dimensional back there. Okay. This was another one that I did. And used a die for that. This was the zinnia paper. And I did put some bling on this one. Also, I ran it through the coordinating embossing folder. And then that was that. So this was with the Mossy Meadow and some Blackberry Bliss, I think. So there's that one. And then this one is, I covered the whole thing instead of cutting it down, because that's another thing you can do. You don't have to use that 3.5 by 4 1/4 if you don't want to, because I wanted to use this paper and show it off. And so it's just on a basic white card, 5.5, 4 1/4. And on this one, instead of putting the ribbon like I did on this card, I put a little piece here and a little piece here, and then their dimensionals back there. And then I used a sentiment that says, sending flowers and thinking of you. So now, where did I get that paper? Aha. This is a new paper that is coming in the mini catalog. And it's called Splendid Autumn. Oh my goodness, it is just gorgeous. Look at these flowers. Now, if you're in Ohio, or at least this part of Ohio, you're pretty chilly today. And tomorrow it's going to be even a little bit cooler. But sunflowers are out, and schools going back. Some of the schools have already started back. But look at these papers, and then they all have a plain color on the back, 4 of each design. Ooh, here, this one, you can't even see it. Look at that. Might as well take the ribbon, or the paper off of it. This is just stunning. Look at that. Green on the back. Oh, wow. I not really looked at all of these yet. Oh my goodness, this almost looks like what we call the Plane Tree Allée at Stan Hewitt Holland Gardens, nearby me. I'm sure those are not the right color tree, but it looks good to me. And I think this is Cherry Cobbler. I'll look at the colors in a minute. Look at that beautiful sunset. Oh, you've got to have this paper. Look at that. I think fall is my favorite time of year. And there we've got some purple behind. Oh my goodness. Hello, Renee. Welcome. And look at this. Oh my goodness. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. It's just gorgeous. Lots of cards. And this is the one that I used here. So 3 of those left. Oh, look at that. So perhaps next week for sketch 3, I'll use this paper. Oops, there's 4. Got some gold back here. However they do these papers, we've got to love our concept artists who come up with these designs. They're just gorgeous. So there's that one. So the colors here are Azure Afternoon with our blues, Balmy Blue, we've got Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Garden Green, Moody Mauve, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Pumpkin Pie, and Wild Wheat. Love them all. This one is a keeper. So, there we go. Thank you for being here today. And if we don't have the creek rising again, I'll be back again next week. Nancy, you had quite a bit of rain in your area last night, didn't you? We had some heavy rain again yesterday. And one of my favorite restaurants where I usually go on Monday evenings will be out of commission for several weeks because they had major damage. A week ago Thursday. So yes, rain can do lots of damage. So let's bring this one back. The envelope plus the card. And there we go. So thank you for being here. Take care. Have a great, yes, Jan, the Noisy Oyster. Yes, I go there every Monday and it's a great place. Have you been there? So it's going to be a while till they get back, at least for serving food. The bar area might open sooner, but it's going to be a while till they can serve food again. But they've had a lot of fundraisers in the area with other restaurants, helping them out and helping out the staff. So it's just been a really good thing. There are a couple other restaurants that are still closed. So thank you for being here. Take care. See you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.